In this video you're going to learn how to internationalize your WordPress website without human translation. This will be done with a specific plugin that will do the translation for you. Now note, human translation is always better. However, I found this plugin a very good job and it's going to save you a lot of time. In the second part of this lecture I will also show you how to improve the translation for SEO purposes and general purposes. Then in the third part we will further internationalize your WordPress website with a third plugin. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is be at your dashboard where we are right now. Go to Plugins, Add New. Search for Transport. Search. Now you're going to find it at the very top of your search results. Choose Install Now. Okay. Alright, it's installed now, then activate it. You're going to find your transport plugin here in your plugins list, and you're going to go to Settings. Now you might see a message at the top of your page saying we were not able to find a supported in-memory caching engine. Installing one can improve the performance. However, this is true. For the scope of this lecture you can just ignore it. Installing such an in-memory caching engine is an advanced topic and we might cover it in a future lecture, so for now just close it. Alright, let's move on to the transport settings. First of all, you need to select your language in which your website is written. For us that's going to be English. Then you need to select the languages to which you want to translate. I would not recommend selecting all the languages at once, but just selecting the languages you want to target. You might also want to check your website statistics if you're already having some visitors from specific countries or languages on which you can then expand. I also recommend choosing languages with the same alphabetic characters as English to start off, so the human SEO translation optimization, which I will explain later on, is going to be a bit easier, and so you can get accustomed to this plugin. For this example, let's choose French, Dutch, Swedish and Spanish. Okay, let's move on to translation settings. Who can translate? This is default to administrator, which is me in this case. However, you can also choose other groups, for example author and editor, if you have some other people working with you on your WordPress website. Enable default language translation. As it says, useful for sites with more than one major language. It basically allows you to edit the original languages as well when you are logged in and you're part of one of the groups that is selected here. Enable search and translate language. Very important for your SEO, so definitely select this one. Enable URL translation. It is experimental, but I do recommend it. What it basically does is it's also going to translate the permalinks of your URLs of your WordPress installation, which means the parts you will see here of your post and your pages, of course not the first part. Enable get text, select this one and also select this one. What it basically does is it enables the WordPress system translation and it's not going to translate that again, which will speed up the translation process, and also the translations given by these language files are going to be better. This only concerns the WordPress system text, not of course your website content. Moving on to automatic translation settings, and just select these two. You can fill out your API keys here. This is not necessary. Note that Google API is not even free anymore. I'm not sure about Amazon one, but just ignore it for now. The professional translation settings can be ignored. If you get to a point where some other language is giving you a lot of sales, you might want to think of a human translating it by a professional service such as the one mentioned here. I've never tried this one before, so I don't know if they're good or not. You can of course always just use freelancers for that as well. Might even be cheaper as well. Front-end settings, select this one. This is in case new text is being translated on the fly for one of your users and they don't have a very fast internet connection. You want to show them some visual feedback on what's happening and why it takes so long to load your website. Allow users to set current language. Of course, if they like your language, they should be able to set it as default, and remove the logo. I always select this one. I don't need their logo on my website. The edit interface is not very important. You can just select anyone. You can play around with it. I just leave it on the default one. Generic settings, rewriting URLs, definitely select this one. This makes your URLs look more pretty, and this is very good for SEO. I normally prefer to have the language code in front of the URL instead of have at the back. However, this is not it's not possible to edit this in the plugin right now. Maybe in the future, I hope so. Add scripts to footer. Definitely select this one. However, you need to make sure your current WordPress theme actually has a footer. If not, you have to deselect it. Well, most themes have this. If you're not sure, just deselect it. How to detect language for your users. This means your website is going to redirect your users based on the language of their browser to your language version, in case it exists, of course. This can be very useful. However, there are some situations you might want to deselect this. Think about the following example. For example, Dutch people usually all speak English very well, and translating from English to Dutch is going to give some funny results at times. So you might not want to offer them the translated Dutch version, but just the original English version. So in that case, you might want to deselect it. Statistics is not necessary, so you can deselect that one, and then just save changes. Now all settings are done for Transport. Let's make Transport appear on your website. So go to Appearance and then go to Widgets. Alright, available widgets. You're gonna find your Transport plugin just right here. All you need to do is drag and drop it to the place you want to have it on your website. You can put it in your main sidebar, or for example in the footer area. I have put it in the footer area, so it's visible on all the websites, all your pages from your WordPress website. Give it a title. Translating is cool. I wouldn't recommend it, but just for the example. And here you can choose in which style you want to show the language options. You can use a drop down selection with images, just flags with CSS, list of flags with CSS. I would always recommend with CSS versions, and normally I always choose the flags one, and then just hit save. Alright, you're all done now with the Transport plugin. So let's have a look at the actual result. Alright, this is the page. It's super simple, just still an Hello World post, and you can see the translating tool right here. So let's translate it to Spanish. Alright, you see the URL changing to Spanish, and look here, all the text has been translated. Casa, texto de ejemplo, hola mundo, bienvenido a WordPress. As you can see, everything is translated. You can see this here at the bottom, editar traducción. This is edit the translation. This is only available when you're logged in as one of the groups that is actually selected in the settings as I showed you before. Let's have a look at this page because it has a little bit more text on it. Not loading very fast. Alright, that's there. Let me have a look. So all these texts right now is in Spanish. And just for the fun of it, let's also translate it to Swedish. Which actually looks a little bit like English, doesn't it? It's all translated. It goes pretty fast. My internet connection isn't really fast right here, so that's why it's loading a bit slow. And well, let's go back to Spanish. Yeah, you're all done. In the next lecture, as said before, I'm gonna explain to you on how to improve the translations for your SEO purposes, and you can use the same method for general purposes.